Hey friends and cannabis enthusiasts. Were you interested in the Fresh Start Tolerance Break program that I hosted in the Bite Me Cannabis Club, but January just wasn't the right time? But maybe you still feel like your tolerance is sky high and your favorite treats just aren't hitting the way they used to? Maybe it's time for that reset or recharge and to reconnect with cannabis in a whole new way, but on your own terms. Well, that's why I created the Fresh Start Complete 30-Day Tolerance Break program that's now available on Amazon in a paperback or Kindle format. And you may be asking, well, why take a tolerance break? And it's because life is too short for lackluster highs. If you're a daily consumer, this program is your ultimate guide to hitting the reset button and coming back stronger and higher than ever. And now it's even easier to get started. So what's inside the guide? It's the complete 30-day step-by-step plan that I had in the community to make your break smooth, successful, and even fun. It also has the daily check-ins and the 30-day habit tracker, or 31 days. If you're still looking for some community support, you're always welcome to join us over at the Bite Me Cannabis Club, where you'll find encouragement, shared experiences, and a lot of good vibes. So if you're ready to dive in, no matter what time of year or even for how long, grab your copy of the Fresh Start Complete 30-Day Tolerance Break program on Amazon. You can just search for the title or follow the link in the show notes. Why wait? I learned so much from doing my own tolerance break, and I know if you take a break from your own cannabis consumption, even for a short period of time, you'll learn a lot too. So go check out the Fresh Start Complete 30-Day Tolerance Break program. And with that, my friends, let's get into today's episode. What happens when you take a love of food, a passion for culture, and a deep knowledge of cannabis and you toss them all into one bowl? You get Bite Me, the podcast that explores the intersection of food, culture, and cannabis and helps cooks make great edibles at home. I'm your host, Margaret, a certified ganjier, TCI certified cannabis educator, and I believe your kitchen is the best dispensary you'll ever have. Together, we'll explore the stories, the science, and the sheer joy of making safe, effective, and unforgettable edibles at home. So preheat your oven and get ready for a great episode. Let's dive in. Well, friends, today I have something a little different for you today, a Cannabis Confessions. I did one of these a little while ago. This one I originally recorded for the Bite Me Cannabis Club, and I have had the opportunity to interview a number of the members of the club, but Wayne is special, and Wayne has been a longtime listener of the show as well and a big supporter. So I'm really excited to release this episode with all of you because I think it's really great to hear the voices and perspective of regular folk who are out there in the world as cannabis consumers. Because if there's one thing I've learned from doing this show for 6+ years is that cannabis consumers come in all walks of life. So if you're just tuning in for the first time today, thank you so much for being here. And if you've been a long-time listener, again, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you because this show wouldn't exist without the listeners of Bite Me. And of course, if you're interested in doing your own cannabis confessions, reach out. I would love to hear from you because I love talking to people. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started this show in the first place, because I've had the opportunity to interview so many incredible folks. So with that, my friends, give a big welcome to Wayne. The recording has started, and we are here today for another episode of Cannabis Confessions. And I am joined by longtime listener of the podcast and also member of the Bite Me Cannabis Club, Wayne. And I guess I just stole your thunder a little bit because my first question was going to be, what's your name? What do you like to go by? But perhaps if you have any nicknames you'd like to share with us or what you'd like to go by, that would be a good time right now.
You know, that's the funny thing about having the name Wayne. There's never any nicknames.
Right.
There's never every shortened version. I mean, you know, Margaret could be considered a Maggie.
Yeah.
Or a Magpie.
Yes. Yes.
No, there's nothing short for Wayne. Or Timothy would be a Tim. Jonathan,
so did you never got called anything as a kid or like in high school? There was never any kind of like
a shop teacher called me Bueno.
Bueno. Oh,
Bueno.
I can see why you didn't keep that nickname. Doesn't really roll off the tongue the same way. It's not very professional in certain contexts either, but.
Well, I'm not a professional kind of guy, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then maybe it does work, but I will not be calling you Wayne or Bueno.
Bueno. Yeah. I haven't heard that since 1982. No, 81.
Wow, that's been a minute then. I hope that's a good walk down memory lane, but in any case, Wayne, where do you live generally, and is cannabis legal where you are?
I live in New York State. Yes, cannabis is quite legal. And I live near the Rochester area.
Excellent. So you are one of the lucky ones that gets to live in a legal jurisdiction that really does make cannabis easier to access, as you and I both know, being in both legal jurisdictions. And can you share the story of your first experience with cannabis and maybe how your relationship with cannabis has evolved over time?
Wow, you want to take the Wayback Train, huh? Okay, let's go back to 1980, I believe. I
Okay.
think 1980 was the first time I smoked.
Right.
And it was just hanging out with my buddy, and we decided, he's like, "Hey, I got this stuff from my brother. Want to try it?" And it was like, "Sure, why not?" And that was the first time I partook of the devil's lettuce.
The wacky tobacco.
Yes.
You can see how many of those slang terms we can fit into this one episode.
Okay, we can try that.
Yeah. But so you must have had a good time then. Like if
Oh
your
yeah, the
first
grass was good, man.
the grass was good. Right. Dope.
Got another one in.
And so you smoked the first time with a friend who got it from a sibling, which is
Yeah, he stole it
not,
from his brother.
not an uncommon story because, I think the first person that did Cannabis Confessions actually also said that they snuck a little bit of weed from an aunt and uncle or something like that. So
Yes, he did.
yes. But how has your relationship with cannabis evolved since the late 1900s?
Wow. Crickets.
I know. I've heard a lot of people reference that time period as late 1900s, and it definitely makes me feel old too. But
Well, if we go back to a little bit further back into the 70s, when we used to have carnivals, you throw darts at balloons and they pop, and you could win things. One of the first things I won was a cannabis, legalized marijuana poster. And my parents actually let us hang it up down in our basement. And it was like,
wow.
It was one of those black light posters.
Yeah.
Hell,
Your parents were way more progressive than mine were. They would have.
Oh no, they were not progressive.
Oh.
They were just like, it's the kids, let them do it. Yeah, what are they gonna do?
Kids will be kids.
Yeah, they're not gonna smoke it. They don't know what the heck that means.
Right. Little did they know.
Yeah, so that's going back to the 70s. So I guess that's really way back era.
Yeah. But
before some of us were a twinkle in their parents' eyes.
But how has your relationship with cannabis evolved over time?
Over time, I was always worried that because I had jobs where they're going to drug test me. Right. So I didn't usually partake in it. Once in a great while I would, just a here and there spot in it. But then when New York State decided to go legal, I said, let's re-embrace this because I liked it before. Let's bring it back into my life. Right. And I use it a lot now for microdosing to help for joint pains and swelling and things of that nature.
Right. So you went from, were you chronic back in the day? Like when you were a kid?
When I was a kid back in high school. Yeah, I was pretty, yeah.
Well, you and me both. So I can't say anything about that.
But then toward my senior year, I had to give it up because I worked full time in my senior year.
Right. And you weren't allowed to use cannabis, or did they drug test?
No, he didn't drug test, but he was very military.
Right.
And he could tell, and I was like, better not do this. Keep the job.
Right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, personally, I've had cannabis has been a part of my life for most of my adult and pre-adult life, teenage years, I guess. But my cannabis usage has ebbed and flowed over the years for sure. So I can appreciate that. Sometimes life just does its thing. So
the years preceding 1982, like 80, 81, I was pretty much a stoner. But and then 82, late 81, early 82, I had to give it up because, like I said, I was on a work co-op program. I would go to school half a day, and then I would spend the other half of the day working.
Right. Yeah.
It'd be, making money.
Yeah. So now it's like you incorporate it pretty well into your daily routine?
Yes, I do. I've learned, through your podcast and through reading of things, I learned how to, cut and minimize the dosages. I know what is my tolerance levels before it starts to affect me in ways that you wouldn't want to be found working.
Yeah. Well, I like the idea of microdosing too, because it's that also the idea of like getting that minimum effective dose. Like you don't need massive doses to really benefit from the usage of cannabis.
Right.
And sometimes I feel like in certain circles in the cannabis world, it's a lot of heavy cannabis use, which works for some people, but for a lot of people, it's really not necessary. You're spending a lot of money and like just blasting your body with a ton of cannabinoids that you probably don't need to. Like that minimum effective dose, if you can find that, that's really smart. Yeah.
That's what I try, and occasionally, if you want to step it up a little bit, let's say you're going to want to have a better time. I'm not really much of a drinker. Matter of fact, the other night I went out to the racetrack with my wife and my brother and sister-in-law, or my sister and brother-in-law, and I got a drink, and I thought, I'll just have a drink, and I took 2 sips. I'm like, not feeling like alcohol. Thank you. I just set it aside. But a couple of cookies would have been better.
Right. Yeah.
And I make small cookies. I'm not one of these guys that makes the big 6-inch cookie and then you got to try to cut it up into pieces. I just go right ahead and make the little teeny cookies, little 8-ounce cookie, or not even 8 ounce, 8 grams. The whole cookie is 8 grams. I mean, it's about the size of a quarter.
Right. Oh, okay. So they are like literally really small.
Yeah. I make, and I'll make, 72 the other day in a single batch.
Yeah.
And I gave away 54 of them.
Right.
My wife's girlfriend, she's having problems. And I was like, give away.
Yeah.
Look at these.
Well, the nice thing about cookies too is you can take them to a place like the racetrack if you want and consume that instead. It is really a shame that, in those venues, that's pretty much the only thing available, even though in Canada, it's been legal for 6 years and still you can't buy cannabis beverages or any kind of cannabis products at a place like that. And that's a shame.
Yeah, we have some dispensaries that have just opened up along, not too far from me. I haven't been into them yet. I've never ever been in a dispensary.
Oh, really?
Truth. Never, yeah.
Oh, cannabis confessions. Here we go.
Sorry, never been in a dispensary. Grow my own.
Right, yeah. Are you curious about going into them? Like, is it just you just haven't gotten around to it yet?
I just really haven't gotten. I haven't gotten around to it because I really haven't felt the need to.
Right.
But I am going to eventually go in there and see what kind of other things they sell besides just weed. If they sell cannabis beverages and things like that.
Yeah, they should. Do they have that's legal in New York, like cannabis beverages and all that stuff?
I haven't paid too much attention to it, but as far as I know, it is.
Right. Yeah. The beverages are a pretty interesting product, in my opinion, just because they sort of replace that alcoholic beverage when you're out doing things socially. Because I know sometimes people get a little weird when you're like, oh, I'm not drinking tonight or whatever. And they're like, oh, come on, just have one. It'll be fine. And I'm like, well, if I have one drink, I'm flirting with a hangover. I understand that. Yeah. And it would be nice to instead have that cannabis beverage. So I think you should check them out. That is my recommendation. But I also don't go to dispensaries a whole ton myself either. But it is kind of a treat. And it's nice when you live in a legal place, you do have the access if you want that. And they just built one
really close to my daughter's tattoo shop studio.
Right. Oh, nice. So you really don't have any excuse now. So you're going to have to go check one out and report back. But now, do you have a favorite method of consumption?
Mainly cookies.
Okay. So edibles is your thing.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Edibles is me. Occasionally you'll catch me with, smoking a little,
right.
But not often. If I do, it's a one hitter. And usually I'll pack a one hitter and take one of those and do a sneak a toke.
Right.
Back to the 70s. So sneak a tokes, not the one hitters.
Right. Yeah. Well, as an edibles fan, I can appreciate that too. So you're in the right spot when it comes to Bite Me the Show about edibles. It's no wonder that you found me if you like edibles that much.
Yes.
Has cannabis helped you manage any challenges in your life?
A lot of shoulder pain and hip pain.
Okay, so some physical pain.
Yep, it actually, I don't have much pain at all now. It also is a little better than when if I'll take a little bit of THC just before I do a workout at the gym and stuff, or I have a home gym. I don't work out at a big box gym.
Yeah.
So I usually take and try to give myself a little bit if I can.
Is this like the microdosing again? Yes. Like you're just doing microdoses?
Like I'll have a cookie before, an hour before I start to work out. And then I'll go work out, and it seems to help me with focus.
Right.
I think my wife and probably children would tell you I have a bit of ADD.
Right.
And this kind of helps you focus.
Right.
It does. I mean, most people will tell you, the stoner will get focused on something like his hand for an hour. Wow, man, that's cool. Do you ever think about how them fingers work?
Yeah. So do you ever combine your your cookies? Like, do you do a ratio, or are they usually just THC?
Well, I don't have a really accurate way to measure because I don't.
Right.
I'm measuring stuff that I've grown, and my stuff has been crossbred with who knows what. So, because I have my own seeds, that's why I call it my ditchweed. Okay.
Right. Right. So you're not really sure if there's a ratio or not.
No, I don't know what the ratio would be, but I do check to see if I do have, if it's either CBD or THC, because I use my T-check to check it to see what I'm looking at.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, cannabis and exercise do pair very well together, as long as, in my experience, you don't take too much. If I take too much, then
you want to sit down.
Then I want to lie down. I'm usually lying down on my workout mat instead of actually exercising. So, the microdosing is.
I forget what they call that pose.
I think they call that corpse pose. At least
that's true. Yes, that is what they call it.
And that's exactly what it looks like. So, yeah, but the microdoses work really well. And I mean, I use cannabis for low back pain because, I'm of a certain age, and it feels like everybody over a certain age has low back pain or shoulder pain or whatever. Like there's always something.
Well, Margaret, you need to start working on your core muscles.
Oh, I've been told that before. Yeah.
Pull that tight and make that back and spine feel really good.
I wish that was the problem, but that is not the issue. It's something else altogether. But the topicals also work really well. Do you use topicals at all?
Occasionally I do. I use I'll take some of my oils and I'll just use them as a topical.
Right. Yeah.
My MCT that's been infused.
Right. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's funny because I always think about using, I make a lot of topicals, and at the end of the day, you could just use MCT oil, coconut oil, olive oil, right on whatever's aching. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the same thing. You don't have to get too fancy, but sometimes I like to get fancy, so I make them into other things. But yeah, you can use
dry skin too.
Yes. Yes. And in the cold climates, that's really important.
Wouldn't know about that. Not in Canada.
Right. Well, I mean, okay. The air is so dry here right now. It's brutal, but as I'm itching my arm because my skin's too dry probably, but it's hard to stay on top of. I am curious though, because you have been a cannabis consumer for, I guess more recently, but also throughout your life. Is there a cannabis myth or misconception that you would like to set the record straight on based on your own experience?
Yes, stoners don't all walk around going, duh.
Yeah, that's very true.
There's a lot of high functioning people out there that can consume cannabis. Yeah. Not everybody becomes brain dead.
Right. Yeah. I would totally agree with that.
Biggest myth for that. I cannot stand that. Because my brother always teases me about it. He goes, "My brother's a stoner."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does he not consume cannabis then?
No.
No. You can't convince him, eh? Is he?
Yeah.
Really? What is the source of his fear?
I have no idea.
No. Okay.
I just said, he goes, "No, don't give me that." Or he'll snag a cookie out of the cookie jar. He'll get halfway through it. He goes, "This isn't one of those cookies, is it?" I'm like, No, it's not green. It's not been decorated green.
Right. Yeah. People ask me that all the time too. "Oh, it's infused, is it?" And sometimes I have to check myself because
I find it a little annoying sometimes, only because as a responsible cannabis user, I would never let somebody consume something without knowing that there's weed in it. Like that would just be irresponsible. So the assumption that I would dose them without telling them is kind of like, come on.
Preach, sister, preach.
Like, who do you think I am? What kind of person do you think I am? But
yeah, you're not an 18-year-old kid.
yeah, exactly. I'm a responsible adult and I don't want to cause anybody any harm. So of course I'm going to let you know.
Magic.
Yeah. It's funny though, because my sister doesn't consume cannabis either. And she did. I remember we smoked once together, like way back in the day. And she didn't enjoy it basically. And that kept her from it her entire life. And she's coming around a little bit now to the thought of experimenting with like low dose edibles or low dose beverages. But we haven't gotten there yet. So maybe one day. No pressure though.
Teach her the rule of 3.
Which
you
is
have to try things 3 times. The first time you may not like it.
Right.
The second time you may like it. The third time you will probably like it a lot more.
Right.
But the first time you're scared, the second time you're unsure, and the third time it's like, hey.
Well, we got number 1 under the belt. And I mean, it was like I said a long time ago. And did I know anything about weed or anything back then? Absolutely not.
Did any of us?
I was probably not the best person to be, but I mean, that's like what happened with a lot of people, right? Like somebody's just like, hey, I got this stuff. Do you want to try it? And that's how it kind of works out. But
back in the day, I mean, we got our weed in a bale.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It came floating in, somebody broke it up and it was full of twigs and sticks and seeds.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't much flour in there, but occasionally you find it and be like, oh, I got a flower in the bag.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely feel like I'm in a better place now to guide my sister in a more positive experience with what I know now versus what I knew then. And probably the same for your brother if he ever changed his mind, but
he won't. He's my older brother. He ain't going to change his mind.
Right. Oh, well, I guess he just has to put up with the lazy stoner stereotype that he keeps trying to push onto. But I know from knowing you that you're the furthest thing from a lazy stoner. And I agree with you that stereotype really needs to die because it's just not true. I mean, there's always exceptions. Of course, there is a lazy stoner out there because they're just a lazy person. Like that's
exactly.
That's just what it is. But I have met so many incredible people in the cannabis industry that are doing really cool things, and you can't accomplish those things if you're lazy. So
you're right. And look at Cheech and Chong. If they were really as lazy as they make their show, themselves out to be in the shows,
right.
I mean, they wouldn't have the millions that they do.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Hard-working guys.
Yeah.
They got the gummy line going now. And all that stuff. It's like, holy cow, these guys are making money hand over fist.
Right.
Still just playing the stupid lazy stoner.
Yeah, they did play up that quite a bit back in the day, but they were, like you said, anything but. And they've been working ever since then. And like you said, they don't achieve that kind of success without hard work.
No.
And
look at Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, another great example too.
Yeah, he makes a fortune. We got Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
he's into the business and he's making a fortune. There's tons of people that are stoners that make money.
Right. Yeah, I like that you mentioned Snoop Dogg too, because I like a lot of the stuff that he's doing. Partnering up with Martha Stewart was probably a stroke of genius, even though they're not really doing cannabis content together, but just, I don't know, just that kind of partnership is so unusual that it makes it really fun.
Even my wife, who doesn't partake in anything cannabis, she loves Snoop Dogg. She's like, he's my favorite.
Right?
I love seeing him on TV. He reminds me so much of my cousin or my nephew. I'm like,
right. Huh? Really? That's interesting. But now for yourself, does cannabis play like a big role? I mean, you've mentioned sort of personal wellness through working out, but does cannabis play a role in like your creativity or social connections?
None of the people I hang out with do cannabis.
None of them do the pot?
I'm the only stoner, I guess.
Okay. So does that mean that do you tend to not like do it around them because of that?
Oh, I'll eat a cookie before I go out and see I have a friend who has a band.
Right.
Probably got several bands, but anyways, he's in a band and I will get invited out to these functions to go see him play in a bar, and I'll make sure I have a cookie or two before I go out. And then, I'll hang out and watch him play and do his stuff and things. He knows. He just accepts it, and he's like,
right.
Why doesn't Wayne have a drink? Because Wayne doesn't drink.
Right. That's interesting, because I also tend to be one of the few people in my friend circle that uses cannabis as well. I'm not sure how that happened, but here I am.
Because everybody needs a lazy stoner in their group, And that's what we're here
for. Except I'm killing that stereotype. So I don't, I'm not going to rest on that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm self-employed. I have my own business. I really don't think I'm that lazy.
No, I know. I absolutely know that you're not, but it's just interesting that sometimes I wish I had friends that were more into it. And I know that they're curious. They have some curiosity about it and stuff, but I don't have any friends that are like regular users that I know of. And I kind of wish I did sometimes.
I don't have family that does it either. And
yeah, neither do I.
Yeah. So we're kind of like in the same boat. It's like one per household, maybe.
Yeah. But I wonder, I guess it is what it is. So I
shouldn't say I don't have my son, my eldest son, he does partake in cannabis, but
right.
As a matter of fact, when the first person to get me some weed, I asked him, I said, can you go, now that New York has gone legal, can you go to your supplier and bring me back a couple of different ones? I want to try a couple of different flavors and see how they are.
Oh, really?
I can't tell the difference between flavors.
Right.
I can't tell the flavor profiles, but
How are you consuming it when you're?
Well, back then when it first started, it was smoking them out of a bong bong in a bowl, whatever thing like that.
Yeah.
Trying it that way. But, and then you got me into the Dynavap.
Yep.
I still can't taste much of a difference between it. The Dynavap is very much easier on the lungs than a bowl.
Yeah. Because you're vaporizing it, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I personally found that kind of the same. Like, I never really got super into bong smoking, but smoking joints, I mean, I can pick out some of the flavors, but I find that the dry herb vaporizer is really where that stuff shines. If you're chasing terps, that's what I find. And the first time I tried the Dynavap, I was kind of blown away because I was just like, this is what everybody's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of chasing terps, now when I'm making my edibles, and I go into decarb, one of the things I like to do is I don't like mine to get baked off. Because when you've put all your weed out on a cookie sheet and then put it in the oven, you're burning off a lot of the terps and the different flavor profiles. So what I take is I make sure I put mine in the jar and I seal that jar, and then make sure after I'm done cooking it in the jar, I'll bring it out and let it cool in the jar. That way they all have a chance to reconstitute on top of those leaves.
Right.
Then I can take and, if I'm going to make butter or whatever, I can then take and I'm going to have all of those flavor profiles from the weed. And I'm going to put, and I don't believe it's just the THC that helps or the CBD that helps with the joint pains and stuff. It's all the little cannabinoids that you find in the terps and everything else. That's why
the
I like
entourage effect.
Yes, I like to have the full profile of that plant in my cooking.
Right. That actually brings me perfectly to my next question, which is, what was your first attempt at edibles like?
My first attempt? Okay. We're going back to the 80s again.
You tried them way back then? Because I don't think I tried making edibles until 10 years ago. I had never tried edibles at all until,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in a little podunk town, it's a little farming community. So we didn't there was no internet. So there wasn't a lot of magazines or pot shops or anything like that. So, I didn't have a lot to go on. You didn't go to the school library to look up how to do edibles.
Right.
Or what to do with cannabis. It just wasn't in the school library.
Right. No books on making edibles in the school library. It's outrageous.
No, you couldn't go down to the home ec teacher and ask her either. So,
right.
So my first attempt was I took and I bought some weed and I took and I ground it all up into a fine, put a pretty fine powder as best I could. And I mixed it into brownie batter. And that was my very first one, was pot brownies.
So you didn't decarb it, you didn't infuse it, you just threw it right in the batter. How did that taste?
Woody.
Yeah. It was tasting pretty green, I bet. Did you get high from it?
Yeah, we did get a little high. It wasn't like we were expecting, It was like, I could have got more use out of that weed if we just smoked it.
Yeah, you would have, for sure, because you skipped a lot of the important parts.
Like I said, didn't have the knowledge.
Oh, honestly, I've talked to a lot of people who did. Did you ever do firecrackers? That was basically, they would like grind up weed and put them on a cracker with peanut butter and then nuke them in the microwave. And I think, nuking it would decarb the weed a little bit, but I also heard they tasted pretty gross. But a lot of people did that back in the day, apparently, too. So it's kind of a similar thing. People just didn't know. We do have the luxury of an abundance of information now. So those, people just didn't know back then. Because you're right. I remember some of the books that I had on the subject of cannabis. They were few and far between. And now I've got like a shelf full of cannabis cookbooks, which didn't exist back then.
Yeah, that's always a hard thing too. Being the only one in the house that consumes, and people keep giving you cannabis cookbooks. It's like,
right.
Oh, I'd love to make these meals, but who's going to eat them?
Well, you could infuse them with CBD. I do that sometimes. Or you could just make the food and eat it yourself, which isn't very communal, but you could do that.
Yeah, I could. Make microwave meals and just put them in the freezer.
Yeah. I do understand what you mean, though, because I have several cookbooks. I just got a new one, actually, that I really enjoy. And there's so many savory recipes in it.
Ooh.
But again, I'm also the only one that consumes in my household. So it's kind of hard to make a meal that you're going to get blasted on and then be like, well,
why didn't you make it with CBD, Margaret?
I do sometimes, but I need to get some more CBD weed because I have run out.
And there we go.
Yeah.
I don't grow CBD weed. So.
Yeah, I don't either. I get it from my friend.
But that's funny. You can buy that online. So I have bought that before. CBG.
Yeah, CBG seems to be I shouldn't say a hot new cannabinoid. It's been around for a long time, but a lot more people seem to be talking about it and the positive effects from it. So I'm kind of curious to experiment with that one some more too. But yeah, the lucky thing is if you don't grow CBD weed specifically for something, you can go out and find it, which is why legalization or some kind of decriminalization should be for everybody so that we all have access. But a lot of people don't agree with me, unfortunately. So here we are. I
was thinking I'd like to try to find some of that K weed.
The K weed.
Yeah, what is it? THCK or TTCDBK or something? I don't know.
I don't know that one.
It's a dietary one.
Oh, THCV.
Is it V? I thought it was K.
No.
Oh, okay.
The THCV. I've heard people talking about that too. I haven't been able to and not just because they say it's an appetite suppressant, but a lot of people have reported that it's really energetic, but not like a cerebral high. Because sometimes those energetic cultivars can also make you a little paranoid. Sometimes.
Yeah, I gotta get some sour diesel for that.
Yeah, but the THCV is supposedly an appetite suppressant, but also give you some energy. And I'm very curious about it. I would like to try that.
Great for a workout.
Right? Yeah, it would be great workout weed. So you don't eat the snacks afterwards and then you get a good workout because you have that boost of energy. But I haven't really found it plentiful in the market yet here where I am. So you'll have to look at that's another reason for you to check out your local dispensary.
Yeah. And check out the seed shops too. Maybe I can grow it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's ridiculous the price they get for seeds though.
I know.
Oh, $10 a seed. Say what?
I know. And then you're hoping that it works out. Will it germinate? Usually they're pretty good, but yeah, there's a lot of steps between that.
A lot of times I have a problem with them. You do the little tissue paper in the water, you get it to sprout, and it's got that little 1-inch tube, and then you put it in the soil gently and everything, and it gets about half an inch up in the ground, out of the ground, and then dies on me. Like, really?
I know. I'm doing that right now. I have 6 little seedlings, and 4 of them have popped up out of the soil, and they're just still really tiny, but they're a long way off from being viable.
Right.
So we'll see. I didn't buy those seeds though. Those ones were gifted to me. So, because seeds do get really expensive, but THCV, something worth checking out for anybody listening. I'm going to check that out, and the CBG. You've given me some homework today, Wayne, so that's wonderful. And as we wrap up tonight, I am curious, what would surprise people about you?
Most people don't think, I don't know, I look very straight-laced. Most people don't think I even smoke. They look at me like, you do marijuana? I'm like,
you do the pot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I smoke grass, man.
Right. A little of the jazz cabbage.
Yeah. Jazz cabbage.
Well, I think sometimes unless you're wearing like, I don't know.
Oh, I do.
The drug rug. You know what those sweaters are?
I have one.
I used to have one too. I don't know what happened to it, but
yes, I can look boho.
Yeah. But if you're not dressing like the stereotype, then, people, especially of a certain age, don't look like they should be cannabis consumers.
Yeah. So. And then I still have the old cannabis or arm wraps.
That's great. Yeah.
Wear those sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time today, Wayne. Thank you so much for joining us on Cannabis Confessions. Any last parting words to those who happen to be listening?
Everybody, grow your own and stay high.
I love it. Thanks.
So thanks again to Wayne for joining me for this episode that originally appeared in the Bite Me Cannabis Club. I appreciate your ongoing support. And if you'd like to be part of an algorithm-free community of like-minded people, check out joinbiteme.com. We would love to welcome you over there. And with that, my friends, I am your host, Margaret. And until next week, stay high.